Yeah, hello everyone. Maybe I'll start. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Thomas Kometzka. I'm the head of strategy at Enapter. Also have the pleasure to guide the business development team. We are, as Jens said, we are very excited. To be honest, when we planned the online meeting, we were expecting some 20, 30 participants, and were quite overwhelmed in the past days when we realized that there was so much attention. So thanks for that. And we thought, in order to set the stage, this will be a very practical and in-depth training, but we thought it might make sense to give a bit of strategy and vision of what Enapter is about before we go deep. We will keep that relatively short, but we thought a bit of context might help you. So maybe let's dive right into it for those of you who haven't had that introduction to Enapter before. So at one glance, we started Enapter in 2017. Maybe Ruben, thank you. And it was started by Sebastian and Vaitea, who's on the call here today as well, and Jan Justus Schmidt, who is not here today. Meanwhile, we are, I think not longer only a pioneer, but commercial leader when it comes to the AEM Electrolysers. We had, meanwhile, thousands of electrolyzers ordered by partners such as yourself and customers across 44 countries, which makes us very happy and gives us a lot of confidence that our approach of how we want to go to the market could be working. And that is obviously the approach to focus on a highly standardized and mass-produced product. And I'm going to elaborate a little bit more on that for those of you who are not 100% aware. And then obviously, one of our core missions is not only to provide extremely reliable and good hardware, but enable it with smart, connected, and adaptable software. And you know a lot about that already, and you will hear more in the coming days. So a big challenge for the next 18 months is to build the Enapter campus, our mass production site, which I'm sure you've also already heard about. And we're roughly going from production of about 100 electrolyzers per month at the beginning of 2021 to more than 10,000 units in 2023 onwards. So it's a wild ride that we have ahead of us, and we're hopeful that we can manage with your help. And for those of you who are not aware, we became a stock market listed company in 2020 already, and a few of the data is down there on the slide. But maybe we go into the more interesting part. I think what's very important, if you want to understand Enapter, then we have to start at what drives us. And urgency with regard to climate change is our core value. And I'm really not just saying that because it is some corporate statement. I think Enapter was founded on that belief that we're capable to do something. We're in a position to do something. And I think the founding team wasn't in a position that they had to set up Enapter. They really believed, particularly Sebastian, that we have to act fast with regard to climate change, and we need to make it happen. And then it derives that we want to work with very simple means, or make the life of an integrator, of a partner, very simple, so that we can actually go to the market at rapid speed. And the third part of that trial is we try to be very transparent, avoid secrets and silos as much as possible, provide a lot of clarity, clear documentation, transparent documentation, so it all plays together. We have 6.5 years on the carbon clock. We believe that we can still turn climate change around, and that's why we're doing what we're doing. So in the midst of that, hydrogen is for us the core part. It is a multi-talent. It enables new business models, not only for us, but also for you. We're on a mission to decarbonize fossil fuels. And for those of you who are not aware, we're not only targeting small-scale applications just because we used to have a small electrolyzer. We're actually looking at much more than that. And I think from the feedback that we get from customers and partners, use cases are really, very, very colorful where we see our electrolyzers. We are rooted in the AEM Electrolysers. This is our secret sauce. And in fact, we think that AEM combines the best of two worlds. We have on the one side alkaline electrolyzers have been in the market for a long time, and they provide the lowest cost hydrogen today. And then we have PEM electrolyzers with the dynamic response and intermittent operation. They really seem to be the future if they weren't pricey. And we think that's where AEM is coming in. We have the same low-cost materials that alkaline is benefiting from, but we have the same performance as a PEM electrolyzer. Our disadvantage is that Enapter and AEM has a limited track record, but together we're actually building that track record and learning fast, improving the products. And with our scaling approach, we think we can really harness the cost reduction potentials and go to the market even faster. So our strategy is a little bit mirroring what we have seen in the market when it comes to rapid cost reductions. In the 80s, the mainframe was considered the future of computing, and the PC at first was a little ridiculed and belittled as a small device and who needs it and why. But in the end, it was a standardized product. And today, all of our data centers are made up essentially of PC technology, blade computers, highly standardized mass-produced devices. And in the energy industry, we have seen a similar development with the solar panel that disrupted the energy giants and large centralized power plants. The solar module is, again, a standardized and highly scalable, mass-produced commodity. And we really think it is time for hydrogen. It's green hydrogen's turn to mirror that development. So at the core of our strategy is really a platform approach. And as you all know, we focus on that 2.4 kilowatt stack of ours that produces half a cubic meter of hydrogen per hour. And we think if we produce that in masses, we can not only use it in a single core electrolyzer that most of you know and actually use, but we can also use it in a multi-core approach in the megawatt electrolyzer, the AEM multi-core and derivatives of those. So the multi-core will not be our only, let's say, wrapping for our stacks. There will be other variants in the future that will be coming up. And yeah, I think it's a very unique approach across the industry, clearly. But we see the advantages that we have high speed of product development, reduced development cost, and a way to very quickly increase product variety. And that's why we're following that approach. So what is an essential part of that strategy on the next slide is that we're really just in this business to provide building blocks, hydrogen building blocks, and integrators are creating the solutions. We try to provide something for every size. The single core electrolyzers in the single kilowatt ranges, if stacked up to mid 3-digit kilowatt ranges. And then ultimately the multi-core electrolyzers for a range from 500 kilowatts and upwards. And let's see how far we can go with that. The core principle, however, is on the next slide that Enapter will stick to the part where we're making products. And when the product, be it single core or multi-core, leaves our premises, this is where the partners are coming in. And this is why we're putting such a focus and emphasis on building that partner network, because ultimately you guys are stacking our electrolyzers and creating the solutions on the customer side. And whether that's small scale refueling, electricity storage, or heating and cooling applications, or large scale industrial use, ammonia production, power to gas applications, we already see everything in the applications that our partners are building. So the bottom line, we want to commoditize our product to make us and you very fast into the market, very scalable, and contribute to flipping global warming. So for those of you who have visited us in Pisa, you have seen how we have grown. In the bottom left, you see our expansion in Pisa. Building number one, the one which is covered in solar panels, was the first one that we used. And then we set up our our serial production facility in building number two. And we've just commissioned building number four. The large picture here, it still looks like it's being set up, but actually in the past days, we started to move in. So Pisa will continue to be a very crucial point for us, where we will have R&D, engineering, and also product production for many of the electrolyzers. And then obviously the big step is our mass production site in Saarbeck in Germany, which I'm sure most of you have seen as well. It is, oh, sorry, before you go to that, yeah, the insight into Pisa. So in 2020, when we started, we actually had station-based or workstation-based production of the electrolyzers. As you can see in the small picture, plenty of space in the production hall at the time. Now this is a more recent picture. The big picture, it is already trialing a line production system that we will be using in Saarbeck for the Enapter campus and in mass production as well. You can see we're running out of space, but we're becoming ever more efficient, so that even in Pisa in 22, we expect to be able to ship 500 electrolyzers per month, maybe more, to you for your projects. And on the next slide, yeah, this is the big project that we have ahead of us. The Enapter campus broke ground in September 21. We're building, this is an 80,000 square meter area property. The production hall that you see fills that image is obviously taking most of the space, but we have R&D centers in there, and obviously office buildings. We'll have conference and training centers in there. So I'm actually hoping to see each and all of you at the Enapter campus close to Münster when it is officially opened somewhat in 2023. The factory is located in the climate community of Saarbeck and will be 100% powered by locally produced renewables. So you see the panels, they will contribute, but everything that we can produce ourselves will be produced with the physical cable delivered to the campus from solar, wind energy, and biogas. So not 1 kilowatt hour of fossil fuels will go into the production of our electrolyzers. And we have coined the term life cycle impact zero, which describes a new concept for a sustainable industrial production and includes much, much more than just energy. We're only starting to roll that out. You can find a blog post about that topic, and we're happy to talk more about it if you're interested. It might also be interesting for your customers who ask, how is that electrolyzer made and how will it be made in the future? Yeah, so I wanted to give you a quick insight of how the Enapter campus has been advancing. So if you want to run the video, you'll see what happened from September this year up to now. And in case that video somewhat doesn't run smoothly, I think one of my colleagues is putting a YouTube link into the chat so that you can actually look it up as well. You see here the production of the main factory hall. This is the R&D building, back to the factory hall. So lots of progress in a short amount of time. And hopefully towards the end of 2022, this will already near completion. So yeah, these are very exciting days for us, times for us. And I'll stop here and pass the floor to my colleague, Ruben, who will talk a little bit about our products and what is coming up next on the product side.
First of all, thank you very much, Thomas, for the great introduction and for explaining Enapter's strategy and how we plan to scale up our production in order to make a significant impact on climate change. Now let's have a quick look at how that translates to our product ranges and what we plan to do next. So for the short amount of, that was not supposed to happen. For the short amount of time that Enapter was around, we've kept our focus in R&D and product development. our single core electrolyzers have seen a high degree of change, but in a nutshell, they got smaller, they got lighter, easier to use, easier to assemble, but most importantly, cheaper. And they will continue to do so as we keep going with the industrialization process. We want to get to a point where our electrolyzers are a commodity and the hydrogen produced is cheap enough to enable business cases that were not previously possible. So the next step towards achieving this strategic goal is to make a design which is ready for industrialization. And today, we're thrilled to announce the next generation single core AEM electrolyzer, the EL 4.0. This new generation offers many advantages over the previous ones, but in a nutshell, it is much lighter, it has a longer lifetime, easier to assemble. It will be available into an AC and DC configuration, as well as liquid cooled and air cooled. But now let's have a deeper look at it and maybe show you some better pictures.
So here, maybe just an addition while the video is playing, if somehow it doesn't look great on your computers, this is just hot off the press, so we don't have a YouTube link yet, but you will see it. We will upload it as soon as we have the link.
Great. So the next generation AEM single core offers significant advantages over the fact that its new design is mass manufacturable and, as I said, ready for industrialization, which is core to our strategy. Its smaller size, lighter weight will allow for much cheaper shipment, and its new O2 recombiner and H2 sensor will enable much easier compliance to various industrial standards, as well as the ISO readiness will do so for complying your hydrogen system to such ISO standards. The first deliveries of the AEM EL 4.0 will be available from summer 2022, and we will have a deeper session on it tomorrow, so make sure you don't miss that. And so building on the fact that our electrolyzers are meant to be the building block so that you, our partners, can integrate them into systems of all sizes with a high degree of flexibility and speed. Based on this approach, we plan to move to the next level of electrolysis, moving to the megawatt size, as Thomas already mentioned, using a similar modular architecture. So we plan to use the same proven 2.4 kilowatt stack and build a balance of plant around several hundreds of the stacks that can be easily automated for production. This way, we can achieve a reliable, resilient megawatt size electrolysis while staying at top efficiency and ensuring high degree of flexibility. The first prototype, it's being built at the moment, and it will be ready around summer 2022. And the first deliveries are scheduled for summer 2023. We're already taking some pre-orders. Please feel free to get in touch with us if you want more info. And in a nutshell, we plan to have it as a 1 megawatt standardized solution that could fit into a standardized 40-foot container. And the main advantage of this is that due to its modularity, it can run with a high degree of flexibility between 3 and 105%. Also, the hot startup time between 0 and 100 within seconds makes it ideal to be coupled with renewable energy sources. And we will also have a deep dive on this on Friday. So if you're interested in megawatt size AEM electrolyzers, make sure you don't miss that as well. But Enapter, it's much more than just a hardware electrolyzer manufacturer. As Thomas already mentioned, for us, it's extremely important to couple together software and hardware. And we offer an integrated management system, which not only allows you to monitor and remotely control our technology, but also to integrate third-party components such as power meters, fuel cells, sensors, and inverters. This way, we want to enable you to make the most out of our technology and integrate it for your project in the best way possible. So this was a brief introduction about Enapter, our vision, how we plan to go forward, and our strategy. I hope you enjoyed the rest of the training, and now I would like to pass the word to Max for the next session.
Okay, I see there is a question. What is the temperature and IP grade for a cabinet outdoor installation possible because of local building and firefighting rule? Yeah, that's a great question. So to be honest, I can't give you the answer, or the answer is that you won't get the cabinet from Enapter. We used to do that 2 years ago, but if you recall our slides, we said we will focus purely on shipping electrolyzers, and we leave it to the partners. So you might actually see a few partners with background images of cabinets. So maybe screenshot those and get in touch with them, because they're building great cabinets, both for indoor, for outdoor use. Yeah, if you need any concrete names, feel free to reach out to us. We'll be happy to connect you. And maybe I'll just quickly take the water question before we're passing the floor to Max. So we are, I think our water requirements are not as demanding as for a PEM electrolyzer, and we hope that that will remain that way. So with a simple water purification system, you can achieve the water quality needed. Actually, seawater cannot be used, so the water needs to be desalinated before use. And yeah, sorry, now I forgot can't see the questions anymore. I hope that answered the question.